Yeah, yeah. Could you imagine if it was everybody?
Yeah.
It would have been awful. How long did it last on?
10 o'clock it started. 12 o'clock they started the ceremony. We were there.
Okay.
2 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi Debbie,
Hello, Jean.
I missed you.
Hey, Debbie,
Haven't seen her all week.
Yeah,
So stop in here.
JCPL thing that's on the 3rd.
Yes.
Are they having dinner there? Then why are you so long? 6 days. That's dinner time, right?
Dave and I went before, right? Dave?
You right? You were there too, right? Yeah. I think they get cheese and crackers for you.
And then if you don't get there like right at the time, it's gone.
Oh, God.
And nothing else comes out.
Well, it's like the men's breakfast used to have at Bethlehem, the first guy to eat all the bacon. Really? They had these big tray and he goes,
Oh my God.
They have real nice ones for, like, different things for multiple sclerosis, like inflammation.
Uh-huh.
And like at the Hilton, and the Sheraton, and it's just full dinner.
Really?
That's nice dessert.
Really?
I haven't gone there.
Well, it's a fundraiser though?
No.
No?
They're just giving you information, slideshow, we go for the
Really?
RH.
Okay.
The main dish.
Okay.
NRH.
Oh.
See, that's nice.
Yeah, you know, you're going there at dinner
Right.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm ready to go.
Especially they want you, they even know you.
You know, doing NRH stuff.
Especially that
Every
time.
time.
They got
Something up there. Shoveling the snow, cleaning up the yard.
How's the boys doing?
They're doing good. I got a new boy.
I'll really take that on Sunday.
That was
This Sunday.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's his team, but my team.
Hello, Valerie.
Yes, you know.
I was like, oh, that.
Where's your? Where's your sidekick?
He went out to dinner with his family for his birthday.
Paparino.
You know, you can't hear, but you know.
I don't do the birthday things.
I guess they don't.
I don't even do my own. I don't even tell nobody.
You know, I guess for me going.
Yeah.
Just another day.
Nice.
No, I had to come here.
Just came back today.
Oh, you did get back? Yeah. Oh, good.
That candy.
They got out before the girl was supposed to hit today.
Yeah.
And we just got an earthquake yesterday.
That's 6
That
months.
one.
Yeah. Was he there for that?
He was there on that one.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm gonna get hit twice.
Oh, my.
Now they start.
Jerry, you know, this is stay like the other one, but this one.
Yeah, that's what they said. They would pick it
So
up.
they're saying,
They would pick
so
it
they start tonight.
up. So anyway, the other cat, he refused. But I think he's still in.
No.
Must have been the weather or something, tell my wife. But.
No one whispered that in the year.
Hurricane.
Yeah, he used to get hit every year, so.
Not that bad.
Not as bad as the last.
The last one.
The last
Oh,
one.
right.
Pretty sure you guys.
Yeah, over there, so.
Yeah, I didn't know he had
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, right. Okay. Okay. My son's. Somebody else wants to show up.
Thousands to thousands of pieces of wood, and they're going over there and never get them.
No.
I mean, right? It was filled to the water. Almost so irresponsible, spends any of that one second. Knowing that people need some knowledge. Yeah, that's what they call masters.
No, he's only giving a receipt.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let me start this for you.
You're not, you're right on time.
I've been in the office to work session.
24/2019. I call this meeting to order and declare a quorum present. Everybody please rise to pledge allegiance to the flag of our country and please remain standing for a moment of silence for our military. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. This meeting has been advertised in one newspaper, the Daily Record, in compliance with the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. Attended?
Vice Mayor Councilman Lorenzo. Councilwoman Garcia Marquez.
President.
I'd like a motion to accept the minutes of September 10th, 2019.
So motion to accept our minutes of September 10th, 2019 as received.
Second.
Something I did, at the last meeting, I believe it was Mr. Janone who said something about our windows and whether or not we had a warranty on them. I did find a warranty. I sent it over to the attorney, and the attorney said that he reviewed the guarantee for the windows upon from Anderson and Densler, Leon Hall, regarding the roof replacement, which has been the roof the borough has been experiencing. The items of additional work include the following: remove and replace damaged siding and J-channel located by the entrance door, remove and replace flashing and fascia on 4 dormers, remove the siding from the front of the dormer located above the entrance door, remove and replace ice and water shield on the dormer located above the entrance door, reinstall siding and seal all joints with solar seal, remove and reinstall gutters on the east side of the roof, replace the fascia and the flashing on the east side of the roof. Leon said that he believes the additional work had to be done, and it will help significantly reduce.
No proof of additional work, but that's stuff that had to be
It
done.
had to be done, otherwise you're gonna have leaks there.
If
And we
had a
didn't
new
know it
roof,
until after they, yeah, but you know what, the dormers up there, they don't always put the stuff around it the way they're supposed to. You know, they just slide it in, or they don't do what they're supposed to do with it, and it was all coming up.
What about a guarantee now, or
Yes,
how long?
why don't you ask me that before I go into the meeting, because I don't have the paperwork with me. I think it's 25 on the shingles and stuff, and
2 years now?
2 years, I think, on the, work.
I think it's 2 years labor. Yeah.
The proposed municipal building window replacement, this is from Leon Holt. The bids ranged from a low of $66,400 from Panoramic Window and Door Systems to a high of $75,000 from A1 Construction. And Leon's recommending that the contract be awarded at the next council meeting to Panoramic Window and Door for $66,400, subject to the approval of the borough attorney. And I believe, when Phil gets here, he has those documents with him.
What happened to the one for 91,000?
Well, he didn't rebid.
Can we see a window first? For 60,000.
How many
I
windows
wouldn't
together?
say so.
23.
23?
Yeah. The other thing I have is, we've been calling around for road salt, so we can start getting it. And Cargill, who we normally get from, is not shipping out from Port Newark anymore. They will be able to get the salt for us, but it's probably going to be coming from Pennsylvania or somewhere in New York. Their quote is $85 a ton, which includes delivery. Last year it was $74 a ton. And we called around to ATAC Trucking out of South Plainfield. He's $86 a ton. And Brain Supply in Haskell is $94. We usually have, I think, 3 or 4 deliveries. And I think they're like 25 tons each.
75 tons.
And depending on, if it's
$700.
gonna be $1 cheaper, it's gonna be Cargill. Okay.
$750 more. Everything's gone up in price.
Especially since we were one of the few people in the area that has salt when nobody else does.
Exactly, they're very dependent.
Yeah.
So you'll need, I need a motion on it.
$85,
$85 a ton.
$85 a ton.
A little more than before, but still.
Yeah, motion and a second.
Yeah, I second.
Roll call?
Councilwoman Cheatham?
Yes.
Councilman Glass?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hedgepath?
Yes.
Councilwoman White?
Yes.
Councilman Lorenzo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garcia Montez?
Yes.
That's it for correspondence.
Motion to accept correspondence?
The motion to accept correspondence as is.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, vouchers. Everyone get a chance to take a look at the voucher list. If there's no questions on any line items, I'd like the motion to pay the bills.
Motion to pay the bills.
Second?
Roll call?
Councilwoman Cheatham?
Yes.
Councilman Glass?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hedgepath?
Yes.
Councilwoman White?
Yes.
Councilman Lorenzo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garcia Montez?
Yes.
Okay, department reports.
Building department, there were 8 permits issued. Total value of construction, $483,325.
It's pretty
Okay.
high.
I'm sorry?
Pretty high.
No, one of the over Hamilton business
Oh,
was redoing. Everybody has a copy of the property maintenance report. Municipal court, we received $281.12. Registrar report, there were 2 marriage licenses issued for September, $56 collected, and everybody has a copy of Joe's report.
Okay, committee reports.
No report.
not happening.
As far as the recycling thing, I'm gonna go over that again. I think he said he's interested in doing something about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
At our next meeting.
I've got a small solution going on. This new place over here with the dog area is now. I was wondering if we can get one of those dog waste bag holder in place in that corner? Cause I see more people going around that corner. And,
Right, like,
you know
where
what,
did you make the turn?
yeah, you know what the garbage
Okay.
can is.
Uh-huh.
They usually, I know in the other one, you have the, bag next to the garbage can.
Mhm.
See if we can put one of those holders right there.
Okay.
There's more activity going on in that area now, once in a while, so I see them actually dog going and do the thing around. Some of the people have bags, some of them don't.
Okay.
Mhm.
So maybe that facilitates some of the, things that happen.
Another doggy station.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
All right,
Mhm.
that's it.
Councilwoman.
I will be putting in for the codes again. The list doesn't open up till next month. So as soon as that opens up, I will be putting in our application.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'd like a motion to accept the reports.
So motion to accept the report.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
New business. Inlet repair quotes.
This is for Franklin Road. There were 5, I believe, 5 outlets that need to be done. And we have a, one here from AJM Contractors out of Clifton. And the cost was $18,500. And then we have the second one, we only received 2 bids. The second one was from Cefelli and Son out of Nutley, New Jersey.
So those are only 2 bids.
Those are the only 2.
That's a lot of money for 5.
It depends really on how much work has to be done, because it's not just like the top. When you take the grate off, if they have to be rebuilt, it's more work.
Used to be 1,000 each.
Mm-hmm.
How much we do last time? Don't we do like 9 of them last time for this one?
They're like 1,000 each.
I think we did 4. The most recent one, those were on the corner of Washington and Washington. But
Did
I
one of
thought
them-
that was, I thought that was like around
The
7,000.
other thing is they're gonna have to get people out there to direct traffic probably, so you got that cost too.
Also, one of those, inlets something collapsed in one, so they had to do extra work
Mhm.
at the corner. So it depends on once they open it up,
Yeah.
because our infrastructure is what it is, hasn't been.
Yeah, exactly.
Apologies.
Why, what happened?
Wait.
Oh.
All right, so now we got to the,
Well, you either award or
one or the
don't
other.
Yeah, it's gotta get done because they're gonna start work when?
in the spring.
Can these guys do it this year?
I guess, if they can, they will. They should have time to
Inlet
do it.
repair. Either the
Did it
quote
say when
say
it started?
18,
Well, we have
no.
to go step by step through and award it first.
Yeah.
I'd like to make a motion to award AJM Contractors for the 18,500 since we only got the 2 bids.
Yeah. Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Cheatham,
Yes.
Councilman Glass.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitchcock,
Yes.
Councilwoman White,
Yes.
Councilman Lorenzo.
That has any guarantee by any chance? When they,
Well, I guess again, it depends on what your circumstances are. I mean, when you have salt and everything else that's going in there, you know, and whatever other, the last time anything on Franklin Road was done. You're not
Retaining wall.
ever done
do we
anything.
know how many we got all together in the, town?
I think Leon has a list of it. I don't know, he may have a, map that shows all the inlets. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah, why don't you ask him for the map and specifying where they are, so that way we track which one we're fixing.
Okay,
And that way we be able to tell, you know, how long is it taking to deteriorate. I mean, is that, I think every year we do 2 or 3 of them, twice a year, probably. I go for this one too, so.
okay. Councilwoman Garcia Montez.
Yes.
I don't think any of them have to be done, we did them all.
I think we have most, every one of
Yeah.
them
At the
done.
beginning of the year we do some, don't
Well, we do, I usually
Yes.
do them once a year, I think.
we? Once a year?
I
Yeah.
think they're all okay now.
Okay, next up.
The next thing is
Is
the Ideal
Ideal
Air contract. The price has not gone up in the last 5 years, it's $1,400, and it goes from October of this year until August of 2020.
We've saved a lot of money with them, huh, Jack, from the
Yeah,
people.
yeah, they're good,
I'd
yeah.
like to make a motion for our
Second.
contract.
I'm sorry, second.
Second. Yes.
Councilwoman Garcia Montez.
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am,
October.
through 8/20,
Yeah, but that's how they always do it, it's
okay.
basically the year, but we don't do it until October. And he doesn't give us a new contract to redo.
And so we'll see, do we have to go with the window contract or that's?
Well, Yeah, well, that's the next thing on the, agenda to do.
Yeah, that's, the reason I'm here.
Mhm.
We had 3 proposals, this is on the window contract, that's titled the proposed municipal building window repair for $71,200. Another one is from the A1 Construction for $75,000. And the one that, the engineer proposed is panoramic window and door for $66,400. And Leon said that, it's his recommendation that this contract, be awarded, because they had, in his opinion, the necessary experience and qualifications for this type of project.
Which one?
Panoramic window and door.
And they want how much?
They want,
66,400.
$66,400. Thank you, Jim.
Do we have any grant in that, or just that comes out of,
It comes out of the money that we kept from when they redid the building. We kept like $247,000 because they didn't finish doing what they were supposed to do. So this comes out of that, doesn't cost the taxpayers anything, this is all money that the contractor gave us.
what's the specification in those windows? Do we know what the specifications are?
And there's 20 what windows?
There's 23 windows. They're aluminum frame, double hung windows, this 7200i series tilt windows, manufactured by Architectural Window Manufacturing Corporation. Window warranty is 5 years, insulated glazing 10 years, painted metal finish is 5 years.
And installation?
No, we have to install ourselves.
No, I know that. Oh, we do? Okay. Everybody wear jeans to the next meeting.
So it's a little under $3,000 per window.
And they all have to be replaced?
They all have to be done.
No, I can't.
There's leaks around windows.
In here?
There's not,
here?
we had a leak over at the middle window. The mayor's windows flood
I know
every
that.
time we get a
I
rain.
know that one.
We've got a window in another part of the building where I don't wanna say where it is because I don't want anybody to try to break in, but it's open, we can't close it.
Okay.
My windows in the office
Yeah, I know you
area,
have the
we
office
can't
in the there.
close.
I know Eddie said they're hard to open and close, but why are we opening and closing them anyway?
Well, because you don't wanna have to run the air conditioner 24/7, and you don't want, you know, if it's nice out and you want some air in the building, you can open a window.
But that
And that's
doesn't
what
have
they're
only
for.
23 windows either.
I don't think this has ever been open, these ones.
Oh, yeah, they were open, we just had a hard time getting them closed.
Can we add an emergency door to this building, on this side, in the back?
What do you mean?
Emergency,
Here?
we got two exit door in the front, going this way and going down, right?
We have a door on the
Side.
side of the building, and then
Inside.
you have the door that we all come in,
Like,
and then you got that door.
There's
You
three
can go
doors.
by the driveway?
There's three doors. What other one are you talking about? There's one over there,
in this
there's
inside,
one,
yeah.
there's one in the front, there's one right here.
But I don't mean a safety situation, in case any safety issue will arise. If you were here in this area, and anyone come out, some
Oh, you're
crazy
talking about the
people
door
come out,
here, you're talking
I
about the
mean,
door
we
behind
won't,
us.
we won't have any way out unless we go into that.
I see what you're saying. You're talking about the door right
Here we are
here.
now, you know, you gotta be careful how we do.
Right,
And I never know what things can happen.
Councilman, you're talking about the door in
I'm not
there.
talking about those right there.
Right there, okay. I see.
Where the window is.
where the window
Where the
is.
window is.
Instead of anybody have to go towards that area.
Well, we still got the money left, right? We could put it in from there.
Yeah,
I
I
see what
think,
you're saying.
All you young people that are gonna be here for a long time,
Yeah, I'm over in you.
He's not
Or
ready.
anybody.
yeah, I mean, we can look into it, see what it's gonna cost to do it. Have to
It
get
would
some
cost-
contractors in here. to-
provided if they're gonna actually replace all these windows. That might be the right way of.
Well, I don't think you wanna do it with that, I think you wanna get somebody separate in here,
That could be done too.
to do that.
But even with them, you probably be able to get in a better price, since we're going to have the whole entire, building, windows replaced.
We're replacing windows and cutting into the building for a door are two different things.
Yeah.
That's what this window people.
If they're
do.
contractor for window, I'm pretty sure they know how to do a door.
Well, if there's they gotta
Yeah.
Go through a
open,
window.
they have to open it up. I don't
There's a
know.
window already there.
Machines that do that.
I don't know. I don't know.
Plus,
What?
because it's higher up.
And just a
Yeah,
suggestion.
No, but I'll check
Keep
around
it in
it,
mind.
but you'd have to have some kind of step down,
Yeah,
probably a
yeah,
ramp
yeah.
also.
Definitely gonna have to have a step.
In there, we can still a little higher, right?
Mhm.
It's higher, yeah, if you were to try to get out,
And
you
we
have to
ju-
have a ramp or something like
If
that.
we have to
yeah.
jump, we'll jump.
What about on?
Sorry, guys. We do a ramp too.
It would have to be a ramp. It would have to be.
It would have to be.
Have to be
If
accessible.
anything.
That's right,
Yeah.
definitely.
Probably even better, with a ramp.
Yeah.
Let's give it a try. Next time.
Yeah, we'll ask around, yeah.
Nothing with the two bids that we had, the $66,400 for the windows,
Mm-hmm.
make the motion.
And that's for panoramic window and door.
Motion's been made, we need a second.
No, we need a second now.
He said so.
Who did?
I said, is she gonna say, I'll second.
Okay. Roll call.
Councilwoman Sheena? Yes. Councilman Glass?
Yes.
Councilwoman Hedgepath?
Yes.
Councilwoman White?
Yes.
Councilman Lorenzo?
Abstain.
Councilwoman Garcia Montez?
Yeah.
Okay. Old business. Introduction of the puppy mill ordinance.
Okay, on introduction, so it's an ordinance amending section 23-10 of revised general ordinances of the Borough of Victory Gardens. And this is the ordinance as given to us from the planning board. Exactly.
correct?
I think I put in two words.
This is done with the
And
changes,
Mr.
right?
Glass's
Yes.
recommendation,
Okay.
identifying dogs and cats.
Oh, yeah.
So you need a motion. On the introduction.
Okay, I need a motion for the introduction.
The motion for the introduction, puppy mill.
Is this the one you did?
Yeah.
Second.
We need a second.
I said.
Okay. Roll call.
But you cut it out though,
Top one.
the last paragraph.
Will now therefore be it resolved?
Right.
No, I said above that it was acted upon favorably by the board, by the planning board.
Yeah, because it says mammals, insects, birds, fish, reptiles, amphibians, and all you have is dogs and cats.
Well, but not limited to. Anything, says anything.
No, that's the old one.
You need chicken.
No, this is the old one. This is my copy. This is yeah. You need this one?
What is the old one, what is the new one?
This is the new one.
Yeah, the new one.
This is the new one.
This is the new one.
One says 919 and one says, yeah, 919 has less than it.
This is the new one.
No, that's the old one. That's the old one. Yeah, but this is September. This is, the second copy is cutting out the last paragraph.
I'll revise it again, it's,
Do you want this part, the second part?
Yeah, that's what we approved. That's what the planning board
Yeah, but
approved.
we all have it, he's saying he doesn't have it.
No, you don't have, that's my copy. This is my copy.
In the new one, yes, the
And the
last
new one
page
is
is
not
not
in
there.
Yeah.
This is not
Yeah.
there in the new
And this
one.
is not what the planning board,
all right, well, let me do it over again. I apologize for that.
yeah.
Okay. I will have it for you at the next meeting.
Guess we can just add it tonight?
Yeah, could we just?
Well, we don't have a written document.
Board has,
Not a written document?
Well, I will have to put down the specific language,
Okay.
Well, the planning board already has it down there.
Yeah.
So, but we
So,
just said-
yeah, you can do
So
it.
you can do it and then just send me
I'll send you a
copies on
copy,
it for the
right.
paper.
Rather than keep holding it up.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't read it before the meeting. I just,
Okay,
So a
no
motion
problem.
can be made, right?
The motion was made and seconded, so we need
For
to
the-
roll call.
as far as what the planning board said.
Planning board has done.
Oh,
Right.
all right.
Roll call.
Well, if they didn't put it in, how do we know who it is?
It's on this one. Did you get this?
On the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, he cut it out on the second one. No, that's garbage. That's garbage.
All right.
Yeah, you can go, so you're friendly.
Okay.
Nathan private cell phone.
Yeah, just have roll call.
That's all you got? Jared didn't get the other one. Here?
No, everybody has them.
You have two? Everybody should have two.
We have them. And,
That's for the planning board.
I'll send in the.
All right, Brad, hold it on.
I'll send in the documents that you are now going to vote on.
Right, which is the original. Which is
Okay,
what
roll
everybody
call.
should have a copy of.
Councilwoman Cheatham. That's changed. Councilman Glass.
Yes.
Councilwoman Hitchcock?
Yes.
Councilwoman White?
Yes.
Councilman Lorenzo?
Yes.
Councilwoman Garcia Montes?
Yes.
There you go. Okay, motion to open the meeting to the public.
Motion to open our meeting to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
You know, 15 Franklin Road. Reference to the ideal air contract. According to my math, according to the dates, that's only for 11 months. Why are we doing a 1-month contract that was supposed to be 12?
It's a yearly contract, but we do it in October, and
I know.
we redo,
Yeah, I know that. But
And
what
it's-
happens to that 1 month in between?
we're still covered.
But
We've
this says
always been
for
covered.
October through, so what happens to September?
We're covered. We're covered under the current contract right now.
But shouldn't that specify that on the contract? Because when September comes along and you have a major problem, they can say, no, according to the contract, it's only till 8 of 2020. I don't think any court of law is gonna side with you and say, yeah, but that's not what we understood. I mean, contract should say specifically the date.
That was the date that was specifically in there.
So for one.
But I will ask them.
Yeah, 'cause that makes no sense at all. And in regards to these windows that we're paying almost $3,000 for, I had a company do an estimate based on Google, or satellite images, and they got the exact sizes of all your windows and everything. And based on their number, which includes removal, installation, 2 years labor warranty, and 25-year warranty on the windows, they said you should only be paying about $22,500. And I checked the prices of aluminum windows, double hung, same as what you have, and they range from $350 all the way up to $700 at the most. I mean, I can't see why we're paying $3,000 a window. I mean, it's not like these need to be done today. You could have shopped around a little bit more. And don't say, well, it's money left over from the builder, that's still taxpayer money. You know, that could have been used for something else. I still don't understand what the rush was. I mean, if you have a problem with the merit windows, because I understand they're different, you could have easily got those probably replaced a lot cheaper than doing all the windows.
But we only got 3 bids, it's gotta be quite big.
Yeah, I know that, but still, it's like, but these bids, you've got all these bids, but it's like you don't even know what you're getting for your money. I mean, where does all this $66,000 go?
I agree with you, but the fact is, we have to respond to a bid.
Yeah, I understand that, but I would still question the fact that the window's gonna cost $3,000, that window's gonna cost $3,000. Would you put that in your house? A
$3,000.
$3,000 aluminum window, double hung window, just a regular old window.
Jim, do you know the name of the company where they said it would be 20?
I can't disclose that because that's my homework.
Well, you want to protect the interests of the borough, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, but I'm not sitting up there, you guys are. You guys are sitting there working
Well,
with the
if
borough.
you should lend your knowledge to the borough.
I did at the last meeting, the meeting before, and now. I think you should use a lot of caution on this because it's a lot of money to be spending. All I had to do was make a couple of phone calls and I got the answer. So I'm not gonna dwell on that, that's something you guys are gonna have to live with. On these inlet repairs, I remember a while back you had inlet repairs done for about $1,500 an inlet. Now we're paying almost, what is it, $4,000? We had inlet repairs that were done a lot cheaper, and they're a lot deeper than what you have. You have very shallow inlets here. Mr. Glass, you said we don't really have that many aluminum. There are still some that are going way back to when the borough was developed that are still non-compliant. You have one right over here in Washington. The inlet is open, you could easily, a kid could slide right in. There's no bars, no grates, nothing. So don't say we don't have more urgent issues. Because we do have a couple of the
Our
old
engineer
ones
didn't tell
still.
us about them, so I don't know.
Well, you live here, he doesn't. I mean, it doesn't take much to drive down the street and say, yeah, that's not current. I mean, there's not too many left. But I mean, that's not compliant with today's standard. And also, are these inlet basins going to be prefab or are they going to be built from block? Because the ones from block tend to break down quicker. Because once water starts to get inside the masonry, the blocks start breaking apart. Because we purchased prefab units, which were a lot cheaper than what you're spending right now. And ours are 20 feet deep in the ground, and concrete blocks that are stacked all the way up to the grate on top. So my question is, are they going to be prefab units that drop in the existing basement, or are they going to be block? Well, that should be in your, I mean, council just awarded the bid.
But we're not the engineers, we're guided by what the engineer recommends.
Yeah, but you should know what you're spending the taxpayer money on now.
Why?
Why
We
not?
have an engineer who recommended
I'm
this.
not an engineer, I don't need to know that. You're not an engineer, it's
No,
a
I
simple basic
understand.
question.
Well,
Basic question, prefab or is it building it from block? Because one carries a different warranty versus the other. That's why I'm asking. See, you will look at me
I'll
like.
find out for you. I know the ones that we have done in the past are all the concrete block built. Not
Yeah, well, that's why they fail quicker, because water gets down in there if they don't do it the right way. Water gets down in there and the blocks start falling apart. The prefab units are solid concrete with rebar. And they're just dropped right in place, they're matched up with the pipes. The grate sits right on top, and you probably won't have to worry about that. Nobody here in council will probably be here until that needs to be replaced. Because they'll probably outlast everybody.
Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. I have a couple of questions. One is with regard to the water bill increase. I know Dover, someone from Dover had said it was supposed to be a 30% increase. Mine was 50, so was my mom's. I think my mom may have mentioned it to you. I think she's got the 2 units, now she pays 50% more on both sides
Yeah,
of
I
her
think
house.
she was talking to Debbie.
Oh, okay, all right, she said Debbie, and I just automatically assumed you. So, but, how are they justifying this? Because see, when they had their meeting, and I saw the agenda and what they, you don't realize the implications of what they put into the minutes until you get your bill, and you realize that you're part of that bracket that they outlined in their minutes. The usage is arbitrary, because it's for a range of usage, it's not for your actual usage. So my bill doubled, and it'll double every quarter presumably, and so will everybody else's, I'm guessing. So I'm curious to know, what has Dover said as far as how they're justifying this? What is it for? Because it doesn't outline that.
Yeah, it doesn't. I believe at one time they said they were replacing the water lines and replacing with new meters. What is their timeline for doing that? I don't know. I mean, when we first heard about this, it was through one of our residents asking us if we knew about it because we were never notified.
Right.
As a town, the town should have sent us something to say that, you know, we're doing this, but we were never notified. It was only through one of our residents that we knew that that they had passed an ordinance on that.
Right. And that's the other thing, with regard to, with regard to Dover, we have the shared services, which is great, because, there's some things that we just couldn't afford to do on our own if we had to. However, there has to be greater communication, because see, I rely on what I get from Victory Gardens. I don't go to Dover's website to see what it is they're doing. I assume that it's going to be passed on to Victory Gardens, and Victory Gardens will pass it on to me. But if they're not communicating with the Borough Council of Victory Gardens, you're not going to communicate it to us, the residents. And so I think it needs to be made clear that if we're going to be in these arrangements with Dover, that they please extend the courtesy of informing us of tax increases such as these, because it wasn't just the water bill increase, it's 7% on my property tax because of what's going on with the Board of Education, and my understanding is purchases that are being made of properties, and that's not even clear. Now, I think we're all on budgets here, right? I know I am. I don't have, just money I pull off my trees in the backyard, so it's nice to know that I can expect these things. It's nice if they can phase things in. This water bill hike, it would have been nice if maybe they phased it in, instead of, doubling it. I mean, that's
Did we ever get a notice that there was a Public Utilities Commission hearing about this? Because they can't arbitrarily raise water rates without
Well, we
going.
didn't get
No,
anything.
we didn't, no.
We didn't even get anything from them, and for months, I was, back and forth with their administrator over there, trying to get something out of him.
Yeah, maybe you ought to
Forget
check
it.
with the Public Utilities Commission tomorrow. Find out what steps they took to get this approved.
We do know with the Board of Education that they did purchase the Hope House, and that they're gonna be, you heard that, probably heard that
Yeah,
too,
that's
right?
right.
And that they're gonna be moving new offices from, I don't know which schools and how many offices are gonna be moved into the Hope House.
right.
And I take it as they said they were gonna probably, what was it, start maybe this year, or, I don't know, I forget.
Yeah, I think they've
what they
already
said.
purchased
They
the
purchased it,
building.
but as far
They
as
haven't done any
renovating.
renovating.
Yeah, right.
And then somebody at that board meeting said something about that, didn't they?
Mhm,
About
yes.
The renovation budget and how much it wasn't like $1 million, over $1 million.
Yeah, on a building that
Yeah,
wasn't fit to be used after it was sold originally.
it was an old school, yeah, it was
Yeah.
an old school, yeah.
So now it's gonna serve as what, administrative offices,
Yeah.
presumably, right, not as,
I don't believe it's any school classrooms, I think it's all their offices.
Offices, you're right, yeah,
and is this a purchase that was made through the Board of Education?
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, and that's my next question. So I was on the Board of Education years ago when we had one,
Mhm.
and then, that dissolved. And my understanding back then was that we were gonna be allowed a representative on the Dover Board of Education at the time we were. Is that my company? If I could just finish real quick, and at the time we were, and then somewhere along the line, that representation ceased, and my understanding is because we have to maintain a certain percentage of their student body, we have to take up a certain percentage of their student body. And I, assuming we haven't met that threshold, or we haven't been notified that we've met that threshold or not, to know whether or not we can now have a representative on their Board of Education. And I asked them, why, are you interested? Well, yeah, if not me, somebody would be.
As far as I know, you have to be voted.
Yeah,
You have to be
Right,
elected.
and we still have to, run for the seat, but we have not yet been advised whether or not we're eligible to run for the seat.
Yes,
Yes, we are, yes, we are.
Because I had asked that question
Mhm.
on last council meeting, I said, we need somebody on the Board of Education over there.
We do,
And they said it's all by election.
Election.
So you can run,
by election, but
Everybody.
also by, because I had looked at the statute governing it, we do have to have, and I think in the meeting minutes before last meeting, it was mentioned that we'll have the attendance numbers, how many we have going pretty soon. Did anybody get that yet?
We didn't get it yet, we're
Okay,
waiting.
then we can use that as leverage to say, hey, listen, if we've met that threshold,
Mhm.
we want to run, because there's a seat that's open, even though I think it's temporarily till December. It'll at least give somebody the opportunity, if they win the seat, to, become familiar with other members and the people and stuff like that, and perhaps go up for re-election for that seat, so.
Well, you would just run within Victory Gardens?
I'm sorry?
You would run just by the votes in Victory Gardens for that seat? You wouldn't have to.
You have to go
compete
through
against-
Dover too.
No, because
Yes,
they
you
vote.
do.
We'll have to get on Dover's
Everybody.
thing, because we would never have enough
Mhm.
votes
Yeah.
to take a seat
No,
on
if
the Board
we're
of Ed.
entitled to a seat,
we're not.
But we're not
No,
We're
entitled.
not. You have to
You
run.
have to run.
no, I understand that. You have to run for the seat, but I don't understand that you have to run against the Dover contingent. You may have to run
It's
within
everybody.
Victory Gardens.
It's basically
That's
the Board of
a good
Education.
question,
It's the
because
Board
it's
of
been so many
Education.
years, I don't know if they make
I'd have to check
obligations.
the statute,
Yeah,
We look at it.
but I do know that they're looking to appoint someone relatively soon, so the sooner we find out, the better,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So that was pretty much it for today, I mean, there's other things, but I think my thunder was.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Mhm. Sure.
It's a good fly on. Restart your timer, please. You didn't restart that. Valerie Williams, 711 Adams Avenue. I would like to know when the borough administration is going to adjust the borough property taxes for on-street parking. Because you should be aware that all of the homeowners in the borough were allotted or assigned, or whatever word you want to put in there, on-street parking, whether it was a 2-unit home or a single-unit home. So that was one question I wanted to know. The second question is, what date is the governing body going to repair the stairs located on the property of 11 Adams Avenue? I received a letter from Leon Hall claiming a 9-foot right-of-way claim, which came into our stairs. So if the borough is not going to allow us to repair the stairs, when is the borough going to repair the stairs?
The borough is not going to repair the stairs.
Are you speaking for the governing body?
I'm speaking as their legal counsel.
Are you speaking for the governing body? Because
I'm
I'm addressing the governing body right now, and you're not the
They're
governing
looking to
body.
me for advice, I'm going to give them the advice right now. It's a right of way, it's not ownership. That's it.
No, that's not it, because as I said, you have declared a right of way through our entrance and exit out of our home, okay? You won't let us fix it, but you don't want to fix it either, repair it either.
We don't own it, we can't fix it.
So then why are you stopping us from fixing it
I'm not
or
stopping you.
repairing it?
We're not stopping you. You have to get the necessary paperwork.
And the paperwork is already here to go. But anyway, so your response was what you feel the governing body should be saying to me.
No, I'm telling you what the law is. I won't allow them, or I will not recommend to them they do something against the law.
But did they ask you your opinion? No, they're sitting here looking at me wondering, why am I still saying this? Because it's either one way or the other. Because you still haven't said to us, okay, we need your stairs for this particular reason in a right-of-way claim, which you still have not done. Now, is that the law?
The easement,
The right-of-way claim, is that the law?
the right of way was there probably before the steps were there.
Phil. Again, governing body, I'm gonna take this back to Phil is saying, because he's now speaking for all of you. Okay, this announcement to all the residents that came from the Borough Hall, paragraph 6, parking. Who wrote this? And did it go to all of the residents of the Borough of Victory Gardens? Stated September 4th.
The flyer,
Uh-huh,
I wrote it,
okay.
and it went to every single person that lives here. I believe there was a notice put up at the condos and one in each apartment complex.
Okay, if you are a renter, it is up to your landlord to put parking in for you. You must have this conversation with your landlord. If you are a homeowner and don't have enough parking, it's up to you to put parking in. Okay, so now, what criteria is gonna be used to put parking in? Thing is how nobody has, any measurements, because you're ignoring original building permits. So are you gonna say that these are the dimensions that you have to use to put parking in? Or you're just saying everybody just build and then you come back and steal their parking later on?
I believe it was like maybe 15 years ago that the borough had conversations with whoever wanted to come to meetings. We had several meetings regarding the parking.
We were
And
there.
at that time, the parking ordinance was done. based on what the council
Well, at
wanted.
that time, you also have to remember that you lost your bid to try to, take away those parking bays, including ours. 2004.
I don't know.
This when everybody started installing their own parking spaces.
No, there was people who installed their parking bays well before that, you know that. 67, all the way up to present. And half of the people that did during that time, had to come down here and do ordinance. So that's why I don't understand how Leon is coming up with Leon's game when he knows good and doggone well, there were never any pegs to identify anything. It was all done by the planning board at that point in time. So, okay,
Did we vote on it at that point in time?
yes, you did.
I don't know.
Yeah, you
Well, I wasn't
did.
there, so I don't
Your
know.
notes. Oh, Debbie Durbeck, was she able to download all that information onto that disk?
I don't know. I know she's trying to do it, and I know you talked to her about it.
Well, she said she should be able to do it.
Yeah, but she's having problems doing it.
Okay, so what was she gonna tell me? Did she get the one for the 10th FEMA?
I don't, everything's on her desk. I don't know if she's actually done anything or not.
Alright.
I know she was having trouble trying to do it.
Yes,
Hi,
sir.
Larry Cohen, Fanwood, New Jersey, volunteer for the Humane Society of the United States. Thank you. Thank you for your perseverance, and thank you for what I perceive to be your commitment to want to do the right thing. And I'm going to go home and pray that in 2 weeks it'll be the last time you see me.
Now that you know how to get here.
Last time I was here, I gave Miss Evans copies of a letter that was received and
And everybody received it.
thank you very much. The last time I spoke, I believe that letter had just been received and I was reacting to it verbally for the first time. It was important to us that you got a written response so that you could see that we were able to find at least 10 demonstrably false statements in the letter you received from the pet store representative. From things as simple as their claims that an ordinance had never been passed in a town with a pet store. We found 8 towns where it's happened. To their claims that their stores use a very small select number of breeders. We have breeder lists with over 170 breeders on those lists. So it's very important that you see those factual, to be generous, I guess I could call them errors. But in my mind, they're more than that. And my guess is once this becomes public, that you've had another first reading, you will probably hear again from them. Perhaps more than just one letter, I don't know. It depends on the town. But I just want to remind you that they were going to frame this as they being the only regulated source of dogs in the state, and why are you attacking them when there are other nasty, unregulated sources of dogs like shelters and rescues? And I just want to quickly explain why that's wrong on both counts. First of all, we've been through how the regulation of pet stores in this state is no more. When there was regulation, I've provided you proof that they were using breeders with horrific violations of the Animal Welfare Act, and that we can no longer obtain those breeder reports, so that New Jersey law is no longer effective. You cannot enforce the law in terms of a pet store and where they get their dogs from. On the other hand, shelters and rescues are liable, or they do have to adhere to certain state laws, particularly if they have a physical presence. They adhere to the same laws as pet stores. Are there rescues that have issues, that do the wrong things? Yes, there are. I agree with that. We are all imperfect. But the fundamental difference between the shelter and rescue industry and the pet store industry, the pet store industry is making a profit on the exploitation of innocent animals. The shelter and rescue industry is trying to save lives. The mistakes that they make are in the course of trying to stabilize. So it's very important that you remember that distinction and not get conned by this claim that they are so well regulated and that their breeders are so perfect and pristine, because it is just not factually the case. Again, thank you so much for putting up with me since February. That's when we started this, in February.
Can I ask you a question, sir?
Yes,
These mills are in the Midwest for the most part?
correct.
Don't those states have any regulations on them?
Few. This is, you have to understand, this is agriculture territory. This is factory farm territory. This is their bread and butter. If it's not, a cattle farm or a hog farm, it's a dog farm. And their views on this is that the dogs are livestock. I mean, I can give you a quick example. There is a law in Missouri that says you cannot bury more than 1,000 pounds of dead animals on an acre of property per year. A notorious puppy broker called the Hunt Corporation was violating that. They were found to be burying more than 1,000 pounds of dead animals per acre per year. And the state recommended that instead of continuing to bury those animals, that they just burn them instead, so they wouldn't have to bury them. Now, the pet store people will tell you that those animals that were being buried were cows or horses, huge animals, and that's why they were going over the 1,000-pound limit. That's not true. They were dogs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
I promise to be very brief. I'm Leslie Murray, I'm from Randolph. And that was an interesting question about those other states, by the way. I get emails regularly from the Missouri Alliance for Animals. Because Missouri is a notorious puppy mill state, citizens have spoken up. They've formed alliances, they send me their newsletter. And they're also, Pennsylvania's another big offender, and there are groups in Pennsylvania too. But the short answer is their laws are inadequate, and there's a battle between the economic forces that want to keep large-scale breeding of dogs in place because people make money from it and making them a business model. The other thing I wanted to mention that I haven't typically mentioned, we've talked, and I know Larry, I'm sure, has done a beautiful job of explaining the cruelty that occurs in these large-scale operations. And I'm sure he's touched on the psychological end of it, and that's just been on my mind recently because I'm a retired psychologist. And I talk to people, some of the more enlightened breeders, if you can call it that, will, when their dogs are exhausted from breeding, they can dispose of them how they wish, depending on state law, and sometimes they euthanize them, sometimes they do things that are more horrible. But sometimes they will adopt them out. So I know people who've adopted dogs from the mills, breeder dogs that have experienced this mistreatment. Well, what they tell me reminds me of abused children. I mean, these are companion animals that are supposed to be like working animals or just companion service animals. We all know that. We have evolved with dogs. And they don't make eye contact, they exhibit excessive fear, they have a range of behaviors that sometimes remind me of autistic children, sometimes remind me of abused children. So there is an emotional side to the cruelty, and I think we need to remember that as well. It's not just physical neglect. And I thank you again for introducing me.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? I'd like a motion to close the meeting to the public.
Second.
All in favor? And I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting.
A motion to adjourn our meeting.
All in favor?
No.